Hey, Matt, Rex said, the real competition will be in training camp. But I asked him, I said, did it kind of start like yesterday with you guys on the field?
Right.
And then he said, well, no, training camp. How do you feel? Do you think it's on right now?
Well, I think you got to come out and compete every single day. You got to prove to the coaches and to the players that you are going to be accountable, that you know the offense, that you can be reliable. And then once you get to training camp, obviously you get the real pads on, it becomes real football, and then you've got to go out there and perform and show that you can do what you've done on the field here in practice and take it to a game in these preseason games and get ready for season.
What if the offensive coaches kind of said is realistic for you guys on offense to get accomplished here in these 10 OTAs? I mean, it's still not real football yet, but what's been the feedback from them? What's been their mantra in terms of what you guys want to get done?
Well, I think we first and foremost want to install that offense and get everybody comfortable with the multiple formations, everything that we're doing, different personnel groups, and also comfortable with each other, especially the quarterback-receiver relationships, the tight ends, understanding how we want to run certain route concepts, how we want to release, do all those things. This was all very pivotal for us this time of year to start to get a grasp of that.
You're already working a little hard count today and getting some guys jumping a little bit. Are there set little nuances of the game like that each day that you guys are getting plugged in here? You know what I mean? Like just little aspects?
That's a great question. I think there's a point of emphasis every single day. There's first and second down, and then you get into some red zone every now and then you could be snap count one day, it could be motions the next day. So there's always a point of emphasis that they're trying to get across. Again, it's a great teaching tool because it has a focal point, and then as you get into season, you've kind of gone through all these things throughout the course of an off season.
And do more reps, more physical reps out there working both sides of the field also mean more time in film review?
Well, more time for us, and there's no doubt. I'm sure that some of those guys would like a breather every now and then because I think we only had about 3 or 4 receivers on one end or both ends, so those guys are running a lot. But like I said, it's great for us because we can get out there and get those reps.
Matt, for all the experience you have, though, is it still first day or days of working with new receivers, new coaches, new scheming, all of that? How much of a challenge is that?
There's always that element of everything being new, and also there's a learning curve for everybody. And I think even, like you said, for myself being 11-year vet now, there's still that learning curve of trying to understand how they want to read something because it could be completely different from how you've read the same concept in the past. Also, familiarizing yourself with the terminology and being able to get in and out of the huddle. It's very important to be able to have good tempo in and out of the huddle so those guys can understand what you're saying and get people lined up.
Man, a lot of that experience that you have came in New England, so it's kind of natural to ask you about the reaction to the penalties from their latest controversy there. What was your reaction to that?
I'm really not going to get into that. Obviously, that was a league decision, and it's something that, the league came down with a ruling, and we're going to go out there and play against whoever's going to be out there on the field. But in terms of the actual penalty itself, like I said, you're going to have to ask the league about that.
How much have you spoken to Tom, though, since that came down?
I haven't spoken to him.
And when you were there, how much was he involved in the preparation of balls before the game?
I think it's the same everywhere. I think that, we all have a say in what we want to what balls we want and all that stuff, and that's about the extent that I'll go into that.
How fun is it to have a guy like Percy Harvin who can get behind the defense pretty easily at times?
Right. Percy has a tremendous amount of talent, obviously, and he's got a special skill set, and he's a guy that's come out and worked extremely hard this offseason. He's done a great job of getting lined up, knowing where to go and do those things, and hopefully we can continue to develop that relationship and continue to get him to develop a major role.
Do you think people underestimate what you have to offer as a star in this league? Because there's this notion of always seeing what he can do, and he's a journeyman.
Right. There's always going to be critics out there, and for me as a player, I think my best football is ahead of me, and I'm excited about the opportunity. And again, this is the ultimate team sport, and if we can go out there and get clicking and, come together as a team, then everything usually works out well.
How do you feel with your foot? Is that 100%?
I feel great. Yeah, you saw me running out there. Come on, I'm like cat-like.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you be the favorite for the job?
Hey, you know what? Like I said, everybody's going to have an opinion. I've got to go out and earn it, and I've got to go out and prove to the coaches and everybody else that, I deserve the opportunity to play. And so that's what it always comes down to. In this league, nothing's given to you, and I know that better than anybody else. And so it's one day at a time right now. It's learning the offense and then going out and performing.
You've been on different teams. You've had new coaches everywhere you've been. How does this compare to where you are right now as far as mentally knowing the offense, the team? How do they look on the field right now 2 days into OTAs compared to other places you've been after 2 days of OTAs?
Well, like you said, I'm not going to compare every team that I've been on, and we're 2 days into OTAs with a new coaching staff. I think the guys have worked tremendously hard. We're working hard in the weight room. We're working hard in the building. The coaches do a great job of teaching and helping us learn the offense. And, again, yeah, it's part of the off season is getting out here in these OTAs. We're going to make mistakes at time, but if we can correct those mistakes and move forward, then hopefully, it'll give us an opportunity to be a good football team come season.
Matt, what did you make of the reaction when you went to the Kentucky Derby with the Patriots? And a lot of people were on you about that because those are your rivals now.
You know what? No, I don't. I don't have a Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, so I don't know. The fact of the matter is, I've been going to the Kentucky Derby for the last 10 years with those guys, and they're going to be my friends off the field. It doesn't mean that I don't want to beat them just as much as every other Buffalo Bills fan out there, so I wouldn't look much into the competitiveness that is going to come out on the field, but at the same time, they're still going to be my friends off the field.